Miguel Cnyana shel Teres Achsidus. Okay, this Kunst Cnyana shel Teres Achsidus. It's called here Cnyana shel Teres Achsidus. The Rebbe gave it the name, like you know. So the Rebbe says like this: Miguel Cnyana shel Teres Achsidus. Regarding the inyan of Teres Achsidus, they wanted it to be Mahutz shel Teres Achsidus. The Rebbe said no, Cnyana shel Teres Achsidus. Regarding the inyan of Chassidus, of Teres Achsidus, there's from the Rebbe, the Friedrich Rebbe, there's Teres Achsidus, Limud Achsidus. And the Rebbe says Cnyana shel Teres Achsidus. And the novelty in the Teres Achsidus regarding to the parts of Teres which were revealed beforehand. There's many explanations. From these explanations are like this: Aleph. There's many explanations that were said in regard to Chassidus. What's the novelty of Chassidus in regards to the parts of Torah which were revealed before it? And from them is like this. Aleph, the first thing is, so in the time of the Baal Shem Tov, the world was in a state of faint. By the Gilei Baal Shem Tov, Chassidus, through the relation of the Baal Shem Tov and the Torah of Chassidus, the world woke up from its faint. Look what he says in order 2. The Yidden were fainted. The world isn't faint. The world is dependent on the Yid. So he says over here. So this is one Yid. The Baal Shem Tov revealed himself that he woke up the world from its faint. So over here they don't bring the whole Arichas. The Rebbe spoke very about Arichas in the Sikha, not the Mugah, that the world wasn't able, the Yidden weren't able to do all Torah mitzvahs. Was too much for them. They were in a matzvah v'salfos. They weren't able to do Torah mitzvahs push. And through the Gil of the Baal Shem Tov, was megal the in of davening, as he's talked about in this Sikha. You can check it up, if I remember correctly.
It's a tape.
It's a tape. It's a weekday. It's Kyslev Tashchavov. Yeah. So the Rebbe said then that he was megala that the in of davening for itself is that's the goal. Connect with Hashem through davening. Once you connect with the Eibishter, that will awaken the Yid from his faint statement, and he'll be able to serve the Eibishter in all his attributes and all his inyan. The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that if a person has a munah, that's will be able to give him a munah zu is tchai nafshe b'simcha da bezuva. The simcha of a munah invites the person to elevate himself over all his obstacles. Okay, that's that. Then it's base. Chasid u'sheis lefnim mishur sadin. What's a chasid? Someone that does lefnim mishur sadin. Kamayim razal seirfon chasid, who burns his nails, is a chasid. Afal gav shemazik, although it harms the person himself, but he's doing lefnim mishur sadin. The tzaddik is kevran, but it will be revealed. The chassid burns it. He doesn't want to have a possibility that someone should get harmed. Isha Muberes will walk over the nails without being moved around. He should get harmed. So he harms himself in order that they shouldn't get harmed someone else. Gimel Mal Chassidus Shakeres Ativim Naisim Keres Elikim. The advantage of Chassidus is that the natural keches, the natural energies, become godly energies. The Alter Rebbe says that kol inach chassidus l'shanis teva midesov, to change the nature of his emotions. Not just to change from his aishach zori, to become a kind person, rather the teva of midas. It shouldn't be because of his nature. It should be because the Eibishter wants I should do it. A person could be kind because he has a natural kindness. Then he should be kind because the Eibishter is a and he feels a godly purpose. That's a mitzvah, not just good deeds. It's a commandment of the Eibishter, connection with Hashem. That's the end of Chassidus, that a natural energy, natural keches become godly keches. This is the Rebbe said in the Maimer also. Then he says the fourth thing, Teres Chassidus Chitcha Shakol Echdecho Every single person, gam, even someone doesn't have a high neshama, v'gam, also didn't refine himself, he could come to an understanding in the Eibishter. Why? Because through the fact that Chassidus took and explained the secrets of Teira, and it made him closer to intellect, with dugmois, how do you say dugmois in English? With examples. What's Mishalim? Parables. What's dugmois? Examples and parables. Fine. There's other words also.
Dugma is some of the dugma shalmamish. Marshall is from another.
I remember hearing from Zalman Razov once, or Pshat a dugma shalmamish. A dugma is more of a, you see the same thing happening somewhere else, but you don't, it's not explaining it. A marshal is more of explaining the thing how it happens. On the red. Okay, good. I didn't catch it. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, good. I remember Zalman Razov saying it. So it brought close to the person from his own keiches, from his own attributes, from his own way of nefesh, how his nefesh works. So since a person couldn't see godliness from his own boss, from his own nefesh goof, like it says, man, nefesh malas goof, avkar baruch malas elam, so on and so forth, many different keiches and nefeshes, as a spheres. Nitna efshorus l'chol ha'chavech lahase gam chelik zeshem b'teir. So through Chassidus, explaining the secrets of Teira and bringing it down to the keiches of tchunas hanefesh, there's a possibility to every single person to understand even this part of the Teira. Like basech shebnafshe lekis, not just intellect of his nefesh lekis, alagam basech shebnafshe asichlis, even the seichel intellect of his nefesh asichlis, ad basech shebnafshe abayim, still the seichel intellect of his nefesh abayim, his animal soul. Nefesh lekis is the godly soul, which means the kol inyoni is to understand getlichkeit. Let's start from the Nefesh Abaymis first. Nefesh Abaymis feels thinks of everything about himself. Selfishness. Nefesh Asichlis wants to think what's right. What's right could be what's right, but it's not because it's right because it's godly. As opposed to Nefesh Lekis is all about the Eibush, the getlichkeit. What's his tfisa and everything is the Lakus Shabbat over. The Ayin HaMahavis HaYesh. You're not thinking about the Yesh HaShaladover, think about the Ayin Shal HaYesh. The Ayin HaMahavis HaYesh. That's the whole mitzvah of the Yesh, is the Ayin HaMahavis. As opposed to the Nefesh HaSichos will think about the Yesh HaShabay, says the Teichen. He's understanding it in his way of thinking. He's not going to think, he's never going to understand it the way a Lakus understands a Lakus.
So in Nefesh, the Seichel Eliki is vital. You cannot understand Nefesh Eliki vital. It's just Kabbalah Seichel.
No, we have Nefesh Eliki within us. Right. We have times that's revealed to us.
To understand Nefesh Eliki is if the verstehst is Nefesh Sichlis. If it's Nefesh Eliki,
it's not Kabbalah. It's a Seichel of Nefesh Eliki.
How does it work?
How does Nefesh Eliki work? Nefesh Eliki. I'll give you a dogma. Is how you want to see the Nefesh Eliki with Golem. I'll say it says in Chassidus that the difference in Nefesh Elokis and Nefesh Abaymis is Nefesh Elokis understands Havaya Echad. The einzige Sache is the Rebishter. Nefesh Abaymis understands Baruch Shem Kedem Chus Le'Olam Vod. That's the Welt, and the world is dependent. There must be a creator. Nothing could be creating of itself. There has to be someone that created it. The thing that created it has to be Yesh Mi Yesh, Yesh B'li Ein Be'emtza, or Yesh Lis Yesh Mi Yesh Adin Tachlis. It can be something from something without any edge. Without any end, it has to be coming from something which is not his way of existence. No, I'm not going to come to say that Havaya Echad is Jokim Welt as Kloch HaShiv. The whole idea of Havaya Echad as Jokim Welt and Yevelt, Nishvelt, and B'Shav and Mamish, I'm not going to come to that from Nefesh Abayim. Nefesh Abayim will never come to that recognition, necessarily. There's two Chassidim from the Rebbe Rashab. They had an argument, could you have a Hashar in the Asalian? In Kol Kamei Kol Chashuv, you have a recognition, understanding, estimation of the idea of Kol Kamei Kol Chashuv or not. B'seichel, not just the Amunah. Hashar Sichlis. So they had an argument, and one of them had a permission to go into the Rebbe Rashab without any appointments, right? And he went in, and they went together. And the Rebbe Rashab was sitting there, and they asked the question. It's saying his svar, and the other was saying his svar. And the Rebbe Rashab said, "If was the shaila, there yet there nit." You're asking, Kilo. There's an argument. It's not a question. One person is shaychted, one person is not shaykh. In other words, we're speaking over here. One guy had his nefesh l'kis was begoli more. and one person didn't have it yet.
He said before, he said, no, it says,
But here he's saying that even in the Seichel Nefesh HaBaimis could also realize the deepest thing in Torah, because we have Mishal from Nefesh Adam. Other the of Kul Kamei Kalochshe, we can also understand Nefesh HaBaimis. Why? Because this explains that Mishal from Nefesh Adam. Just like by a person, one ace has no value. The Gabi the Keich Dibur, certainly not the Gabi Keich Machshov, certainly not the Gabi the Keich Nefesh, certainly not the Gabi the Etzma Nefesh itself. So too is true Gabi the world. The world is being created by someone more deeper than that. Baruch She'amar Vayeilam. They said what other utterance, one dibur, and this is where the world became created. So we understand the world's insignificance. It's al Shalom from Nefesh Adam that we could find to understand this in the Elokus. Kamuvan, it's not going to be the same way how the Nefesh Elokis understands it. The Nefesh Elokis understands it; he understands the Nimshal. Here we're taking it through the Moshel, but through the Moshel he could understand it. He could have somewhat of a grasp in the Inyan.
But from this you come to the Nefesh Elokis.
It's not going to be as Nefesh Elokis understands it. It's three ways of explaining things. I'll tell you a Moshel Dugma in the Midas. And Nefesh Elokis, Nefesh HaBaimis, and Nefesh HaSichlis. Moshel Chesed of Nefesh HaBaimis is Kol Kulei Zich. Why is he doing kindness? Because Messiah Harris, Kol Tivud Avnum, Garmayo Avdim. Or no, that's a Goy. A Yid is Eidler. Why is he doing it? Because he feels good about it. He feels good to help someone else. Nefesh HaSichlis doesn't do because he feels good. He does it because it's the right thing to do. That's why he's doing it. He's doing Midas, but it's not because he feels good. If he'll feel happy that the other person doesn't need him, or not. The guy won't feel happy that the other person doesn't need him because he wants to be the one giving. The Garmayo Avdin. The Yid, he wants that the Yen is all very good. So even if the other person is not, if the other person doesn't need him, so he's happy. And will the Yen is all very good. He should be the guy. It's not about him. It's about the Yen is all very good. And when he could help, he's very happy. Sichus is more about it's the right thing to do. He'll do it. He's intellectual. He's not emotionally involved. It's not about his. Even though he's a nefesh, he has a midas in nefesh sichlis. That's nefesh sichlis. Now, post nefesh lekis, it's about valzei vil der Eibishter. As the Eibishter will, that's why I'm doing it. Not because of my benefit, not because it's the right thing to do. Because azei vil der Eibishter, he's connecting with the Eibishter through doing it. Azei that's a chassidus. I don't know if this explains what we're talking about.
That's how I know which level I'm on.
You know, every minute, yeah. Every minute you can know. It's give you something of Shasichas, Shabbaim, something of Shalakis. You have three nefoshes, not schizophrenic, but the idea that you have three nefoshes, you have three opportunities. That's Chassidus in Shari Tshuva, I think, if I remember correctly. The Mittel Rebbe speaks about it. So the same thing in intellect, and there's a mimer from Tzadik Beis in Tafshin Yud, the Frierdiker Rebbe speaks about the Seichel HaTivi, Seichel HaNushi, and Seichel HaLiki. It's different levels. They're be'ein areich one to another. If it's about me, or it's about the idea, or it's about Elokus, three different levels. Nefesh Elokis is Chatchila Einin Movadi. That's his approach. Everything's godliness. Everything's the Eibishter. So for him to understand the Chassidus is nicht kein Geist Chiddush. Even if he's over here, he's over here. So that's Chassidus da Moshe Aloshen. That Nefesh HaBaimis is called a TV, and the Nefesh Elokis is called a Sichli. I think the Aloshen in 9 Beis brings it from. What's the pshat? Nefesh Sichli is also a TV, because he's not able to detach himself from himself totally and look at the object, look at the idea for what it is. He's always attached to himself. It has to fit a certain criteria. The right thing, the Nefesh Elokis is the true sichli, because he's all about knowing the reality of the thing as is. It's not about. He's not attached to anything. He's not object. He's not subjective. He's objective. Yeah.
That you change your teva midday, so you detach yourself from yourself.
You become a Elokus. Yeah, that's the mile of Chassidus.
You detach yourself.
So you're saying. So you're asking, is Chassidus coming to bring it down to me, or that I should change myself? That's your question. It's Mimon of Shef Kilo.
You is you. whatever. If you want to touch yourself, dann Shem sein Telo mit Deis, das ist andere, naja.
Und bis jamalt kann man nicht verstehen Chassidus.
No. He said, you verstehst es.
Miles Chassidus.
In your way of.
If I start off with my way of thinking. I understand the Eibishter, I'm not becoming Nefesh Elokis yet. Even my Nefesh HaBaimis will start enjoying the Eibishter because he knows there's a mile. It says Losh Chassidus. But even then, it's still.
Does bring. That's what I'm saying. That's my question. So, Nefesh Elokis, Nefesh Sichlis brings you to Nefesh Elokis. That's what I'm saying.
As steht in Chassidus that the Nefesh Elokis is a mamutzu between Nefesh Elokis and Nefesh HaBaimis. But at the end of the day, when Nefesh HaBaimis is selfish, and for him to love the Eibishter, to love Bittul, to love Ayin, is going to be a skafia.
But then if you have Nefesh Elokis with Kabbalas Eil, it's something else.
It's total different. It's true. It's a different level. That's what we're saying. It's come to choice that this is, if I state the way the reality is, the ultimate, the way it is. Here he's understanding it and his benefit. Or put it like this.
You accept as a Mishnah, and that's it.
Because why? Because this is him.
Okay.
So this is his norm. He's not trying to convince himself from something outside of him. Chassidus comes down to bring it down, even the Nefesh HaBaimis, which is selfish, all about himself. Even for him, he could tell him, he could explain to him that Teva Velakus, that Kivus Elkim Li Tev. That's beneficial for him also. Is he understanding the Teva Velakus, or Bechlal the Ein of Velakus higher than the Ein of Teva Velakus? Is he able to grasp that? Being a Nefesh HaBaimis. Even though we're saying that, I'm just thinking out loud, even though we say that nice and Kirtiv Kechse Lakim, does he become Oiz Nefesh HaBaimis? Is nicht da, wird das wie Tzadik? All the Chassidus is that everyone should become Tzadikim? Maybe. I'll tell you be'emes, there's a lotion, there's a maim from the Rebbe, L'hoveni in Tainis HaMeraglim. Tovsh Tezvov. He speaks over there about the Chazukum Imenu, that the Eibush Kaviyach cannot change, cannot overcome because he created the Eretz Yisrael, the Zaymidis, the Moshe for Zaymidis, so mainly he can't change it. Chazukum Imenu, Kaviyach, Balabai saying Yochel Eitzias Kelov. So he says over there that the person doesn't change himself. That's the code of the Maimon. He asks the Shaila that Chassidus L'Shan Tev Mideisov, Shem Deisov Ativim, and Tev Mideisov. He asks the Shaila of Avram Avinu, L'chor we know that Ati Dati Kirei L'Kimato, that the Eibush saw that he's not just the Eiv, he also had the Gvuris. And he says that even Avram Avinu, Ati Dati Kirei L'Kimato, upon him that Maimon, he says, it was a Teitzah from his Avi. He loved the Eibush so much so that he couldn't be detached from Hashem. To say that his niyim was to be connected with to have yira as yira for yira, in that Maimon at least it doesn't say that. So if a person could change his b'dei savativi, what's that? Avram Avinu couldn't change it. He had to be dafka ave. So over there comes out that the pu'ulis he could change, but not the etzem at teva. The etzem. That's chanasacherte. Yeah, I'm a kenish baiten.
Kenish.
Yeah. Right.
Noch wegen die Gimel Schönes, das ist
noch schwer. Und was du love. Right.
Aber ist der Paar, was kommt dies von da? Also sie da der Schar ist da oder das arbeiten und sie da sei bei der Karte.
To make it happen.
Das ist der Tibuch
von alle Inyanim. Okay, ich habe das sagst. I hear what you're saying. You're saying that it's simple. Also I'm all verstanden, that, but it's very complex.
And that's what we're learning.
Yeah, because I'm all talking one way. I'm all talking nicht to say. To make just a tibuch, just to say that this is the. It's Derish Biur, it's something like that you have to say.
For example, I've been to the Kseach,
Right.
Whichever midah he has,
It's very hard to change, yeah.
It's a hard work, and you have to go to the other extreme. And then
there's a word from Chai Brisker. He used to say that to learn 7 times Shas Le'iyun is easier than changing 1 Tnuah from a midah. Manan Abbas. Folgt nicht gern gekostet, ne? Sagen also noch. Moving the portion.
question all of us. Okay, I'm not going to ask you enough questions.
Not on the camera. Moving to part. No, but he said, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It's fine. You're right. He brings over here in order 9, he says, "V'ayim b'teres shalom, she'mitzad inyan zeh, she'nischarj b'teres achsidus, she'dei ha'kech shebad ha'masig b'sinyan shalom ma'ila, naisim ha'kechis ha'lokos. V'al pi zeh, yesh l'kasher inyan zeh, im inyan ha'gimel." This is what you were saying before, that this concept that I can understand the Eibush through my keches, that makes taka that it should become getlich. It should become a conduit, a way to connect with Hashem. The whole being, the Chassidim used to say, these meishlim bekerev tevel. Al tikre meishlim ele mesholim. The whole reason the Eibush creates the tevel meish shabar lekeinu is in order to be a marshal for alakus. For air, for all the inyanim, that's the whole. If once we see all that, like in such a eye, in such a view, everything becomes gatlich. Fine. Come weiter. Moving the Pasho, Kidl, come on. It's simple and it's understood. Asher teres achsidus in the kuda achas. The reality is that Chassidus is one Nekuda she'enim merkavos mipratim she'enim. It's not put together from different details. It's not like I said till now Sif Aleph, that there's 4 different miles in Chassidus. Wakes up from his alphas. It's lefnim b'shur sadin. It's idea of Kirchas Tiv Naz Kirchas Lakim. It's understanding the Lakus also in Nefesh Habayim Stikis Seichel. Nervaden. Kim shekol ha'miles should never be now beit bar miles she'enusin. But since all the miles which are said in these above mentioned explanations and the more explanations, which is explained in other places in Chassidus, are different miles, are separate miles, are in Mukhrich, you must say shemiles einon magdiris umematzis is mahuso shel teres Chassidus. These advantages, these greatnesses that we said about Chassidus do not define, do not express fully what is Chassidus. Mahuso shel Chassidus, what is Chassidus is nekuda atzmis hamufshetz miyon pratim, is a essential nekuda which is beyond any details. Ela mitzad nekudos ha'atzmis nimtzois u'mistayis u'mena miles anal, because what it is outcomes all the miles above mentioned. What is the nekuda atzmis shel Chassidus? Nekuda atzmis shel Chassidus kemdur b'leil ba'amayim shebisei the mayim shechol kad masham shoseidim. He says, what is it? Like I said before in the Maimer, which is founded in the Maimer of the Rebbe Rashab, Am shochas eir chodosh meptichinas pnimiyus hakeser. To bring an eir chodosh from pnimiyus hakeser, or the Maila Yeser, even higher than this, Am shochas pnimiyus atik mamish. In general, Am shochas eir chodosh from pnimiyus hakeser. Why is it called eir chodosh? Because it's not regularly revealed. That's the end of Chassidus. And even higher, not just Pnimis HaKeser, for Pnimis Atik Mamish. In Pnimis HaKeser Gufa, Pnimis HaKeser, Pnimis Atik Mamish, which is called Pnimis Ein Sof Shenim Tzabradla. Like the Rebbe says always, there's the differences of Ein Sof, which is
It's the mimer of this Kislev talks about this.
Of this Kislev.
Of this
Chavav, yeah. He's saying that this is the mimer. Kimdur B'Leil Ba mimer, like he said just now in the mimer.
I mean this year.
The mimer that the Rebbe said Chavav. This year of Chavav, Yitus Kislev Chavav. So he says the Sichas Yitus Kislev Chavav.
yeah, it's here.
Oh, that's what he's saying.
Mimer.
That's what he's saying.
Very nice. Shishim Shana, yeah. So he's saying that I'm shocked from Pnimis Atik Mamish. B'chinas Ein Sof Shenimtza B'Radlo. What's Ein Sof Shenimtza B'Radlo? It says that Ein Sof is Nimtza Mis'alim or Misgala in Radlo. Misgala is Pashto Seir, and then there's the Etzemer is Mis'alim. Then there's Nimtza is the Etzem Mamish. You can't even say anything. You can't say Helim. You can't say Gilui. He just is there. He just is. You can't say anything about him. And that's where Chassidus is coming from. This fact that he said in the Maimer, that what's Chassidus? Reshut leis yada. We do not know it. We cannot know it. He doesn't know what it is. It says Reshut leyada v'leis yada. Erveis alein is what's happening with him. He doesn't know who he is, and he cannot be revealed. He can't be translated. He can't be to relate it about. And this inyan that's said in the Maimer Machriach, this is forces to say, all the different advantages which explain the Chassidus in different places, various places, only an outcome, only a branching off from the essential mile of Chassidus, which is Ein Sof Anim Tzabradla. I'm shocked from Ein Sof Anim Tzabradla. Since Chassidus is the Amshach of Ein Sof, which means there's no. It says in Chassidus, what's that Ein Sof? Shlilas kol haTeirim. You can't say anything about him. I submit in Ein Sof. There's two types in Ein Sof. One type in Ein Sof is that Ein Sof as a Teir. It's a definition, a description, which is Ein Sof. It's not Ein L'Tchila. Then there's another type in Ein Sof. Ein Sof, you can't define it. You can't describe it at all. Shlilas kol haTeirim. You can't say anything about it. How they moving? So since he says this is the Amshach of Ein Sof, how they moving? Who push it? It's simple. Understood. Asher Ein Sof hu ha'atzmi. V'chol shar inyonim ein el nimtzoim usuvovim mimenu. This is the essence of Chassidus, and all the rest of the concepts and miles the Chassidus gains and has is only an outcome of this essential advantage that Chassidus is. Chassidus is a revelation of the Ein Sof himself. In other words, it's not higher than the rest of the things. It's not another Maila. This is an Atzmzdika Maila. It's beyond any description. And anything that ever happens will be an outcome of this. Because if this is here, everything is here. Fine? Okay. Weiter oder geht's früher? Weiter noch ein bisschen. Ja, mal oben geht der Chassidus. This that we said before regard to Teres Chassidus will be closed. B'chol chalkei Teir. Really, this is true in all the parts of the Teir. Why? HaTeire kileles kol amini shleimus u'mailas shanim tzois beilo. Teir includes all the different milas and shleimus which are in the world. Hanechlek is b'chlal, which in general is divided binyan elam kotten hu adam, in the things of the person, which is elam kotten, which is a small world that includes everything within himself, which is the milas hamechin, the milas hamidas. He has the intellect and the emotions. Vanhogus musris, or midas tevis, and you speak about musra and midas tevis. So the laws and the musar of which Torah tells us in Ovis and the like are the ultimate good, the ultimate truth. And all the types of musar, how do you say the musar in English? Ethics and morals and ethics that people made up for themselves. They decided this is going to be the good way of people should conduct themselves. Meravis and Tevera is good and bad together. And emes v'sheker, truth and false. It's Teva and emes is two different inyanim. Teva is very nice, but it's not the in of emes. It's two inyanim. He says it again. Meravis Tevera and emes v'sheker.
What does it mean to them?
What's the difference of Teva and emes? They're two words, first of all.
Yeah.
A gut is a gala. A gut is a whatever. Yeah.
Gut crying, gut in der Erde.
Es kann sein, gut ist nicht emes. Es kann du der Eibischte. So I call Ponis, he's saying good is not the ultimate. Good is nice, but is that everything? There's things that are higher than the whole idea of good. Good is an attribute, is a way of being. There's beyond the whole idea of Tev. It says that the etzmin of Meichin, mentioned before, is Bechlal higher than the whole idea of Tev Bechlal. Tev is already, should I be Miskarev Aladover, or Tev and Ra is Miskarev Lirachik. It's a mokar l'karav l'rachik because it's tevara. But who speaks about the l'karav l'rachik? It's the Nin Alein. The Nin Alein can say emes of the sheker. Maybe that's the difference. Midas and meichin. I don't know. Emes is something which is masculine, atzkim, called tzad. It says Chassidus, brought down from the Rabbag, I think. The idea of emes is that it's real. It's going to be real everywhere. Anyways, and the good of all these shittas, of all the isms, he's going to bring down the story from the Frierdiker Rebbe. The source of it is in Teira. Where does all the different ideas that people came up with for the humanity, where did it come from? The good of it came in Teira. Like no, the story from the Frierdiker Rebbe, one of his travels, it's Vaku Kama Noshim Bebidi Yeshenis, it is Yachs Ater Lashitza Medinius. There was many people had a vikuach, how do you say vikuach in English? Debate. And they said different opinions about how Torah looks at different ideas of the different shittas. How do you say different shittas? Different approaches of the country. The communists and the socialists. You have amazing scams with which one does Torah agree? But and each one of the people is showing a source in Torah to their opinion that that's what Torah holds. When they asked the Frierdiker, what's his opinion? Only he said, again he says, Torah is the ultimate truth and the ultimate good. There's in here has all the good things in all the shittas. You have the mile of socialism, the mile of communism, the mile of everything, whatever, liberals and conservatives, v'chulu. All the shittas have milas, and Torah has all the milas of all the shittas. That's in regard to midas. When you get chochmas, Torah is the highest wisdom. This is the wisdom for the eyes of the nations. Everyone's going to realize that you're smarter than them. I'm not going to say, okay, fine. You look at page Kuf Daled in Kundasai Spiles, you see what it says over there. Anyways, I'm going to go there.
Kuf Daled?
Yeah.
Kundasai Spiles?
Yeah.
Give a synopsis.
He speaks over there. Why is the mile of Torah Ugabi other Chochmas? Stop. That's the synopsis, as far as we go.
So, in Torah, it has the good of everything.
In good of anything, the benefits of all the difference of all of them. Yeah, all the different shittas you have in Torah. Torah is going to tell you have to yochid v'rabim aloch kirabim. And Tzadsheni Torah is going to say to look at every yochid. You have to be miyakir every yochid after achkom meicho. You have to give him over any shit that has a benefit. Torah is going to have. You have to have it. How can you be keil la keil? How can you do both shittas opposites? Because Torah is the good of everything. It's not coming from the thing that says Nayim. Torah is not a gzetz full leben, it's a machta leben. It creates because it creates the situation. It's not coming from the situation. I have to see how I'm going to patch it up, how I'm going to work it out. It's making the situation. So if you have Torah, and Frat Torah is a chochma lekis, it's a Torah lekis. So it's the ultimate. It has everything. It's keil la keil. That's what he starts saying, that be'emes, anything in Torah is going to be Ein Sof. That's what we said when we get to Torah Chassidus. It's true in all Chalkei Torah. That Torah, why does it have all the milas? Because it is Ein Sof. Torah is Bush Shinatzmas. Chalal Torah. Now he goes to, that's regard to Midas. Fine. So the Relay Zubulvad. Not just we say that it has all the milas. We find that any life force that comes to the world, even the highest of worlds, is dependent on one diktuk of Torah. A person shakes the lulav, piece of darf to sein, there'll be a shpo of das, look for the zoy, medes b'chaz the zoy, whatever it is, every mitzvah. Shpos HaMeichin and Tefillin and Every mitzvah is negeya. What he does down here is going to shake all the elements. And for every yid is negeya. If you think about it, it's chmerik, yeah. This is not the mahus of Torah. The stackets kill all the miles from the world. All the life force of all the worlds is coming from Torah, but it's not the mahus. The mahus of Torah is that it's connected totally with the eight Ein Sof, which is enclosed in it with the ultimate unification. And therefore, since that Torah is really connected with the Eibishter himself, just like all the worlds are nothing in regard to the Ein Sof, right? Because Ein Sof is Ein Sof, Bili Shum Teir, no definition, no description at all. Elam is calling Yonim is Teir. What's Teir? Lagabi Bli Teir? Shalei Berach. Kach Keinheim Gam Lagabi HaTeir. So too there is values to Teir. Teir is one with the Eibishter. B'meile, it's Yuchad with the Eibishter. B'meile, whatever is true by the Gabi the Eibishter is true Lagabi Teir. Therefore, there's no way, it's not the right thing to do to praise the Torah that all the life force of all worlds come from Torah. They're invaluable. Even to say that all the elements is totally bedikti kachat shel Torah is not the right description to say about Torah. Why? Because Torah is much higher than that. They're insignificant Lagabi Torah. Hello. So how far does it come down that all the world's chayes come from there? Because she has essential nakuda, which means she's one with the Eibishter himself. She's Ein Sof. She too is Ein Sof. This is the answer to your question. How could it have all the things of the world? Because it's coming from Ein Sof, which is beyond any description. If you come to the description, it's going to have all the inyan together. How can it have all together? It is higher than having all the things together. Having all the things together is a descent, lowering itself down to coming to miles and shleimus, tziyurim, and different types of existences. Pshittas is beyond anything. The true pshittas is for sure beyond anything. Pshittas could also be a definition, also a description. We spoke before about two targets in Ein Sof. Say Ein Sof is a description, or Ein Sof the shlilus kol haTeir, even the Teir of Ein Sof as well. Same thing with pshittas. You could say pshittas is a gather of pshittas. Pshittas is not serious. Then you say real pshittas is that it could be anything. So therefore, through the Torah will be hashpas hachayis. So what's higher? The fact that all the shleims and miles which are in the world is in Torah, or that all the chayis of the world come from Torah? The second thing is higher, right? Even that, he says, is not the mahus of Torah. Why? Because Torah is one with the Eibishter, one with Ein Sof, one with the Eibishter himself. And just like the Eibishter, you can't say that the worlds have any value because it has nothing, no worth. So to Lagabi Torah. Never then, because Torah is one with Hashem, therefore it also has automatically all the mouths that exist in the world, and she's also going to give the one to give chayes to the world. Okay, so the Rebbe says, to conclude, although it's true that all parts of the Torah, their nekuda, their essential nekuda is that they're one with Ein Sof, but the main inyan of this nekuda, that we say that it's one with Ein Sof, is expressed in Chassidus. Like it says in the Maimer regarding to Chassidus, why does it say this only in regard to Chassidus? It says in the Maimer regarding to Chassidus that Chassidus is Amshachas Ein Sof Hanim Tzibradlo. Why is that? Because in all different parts of Torah, the Ein Sof of the parts of Torah, Takat's Ein Sof. But it comes down to a certain tzir, which is the opposite of Ein Sof. Where do you see that it has a tzir? Because it's a tzir hamagdir umevati gitareis mohusi shel chelik zeh. It's a tzir which defines and expresses what is this chelik, what is it all about. Every part of Torah has its expression. The tzir zeh shel chelik Torah zeh, and this tzir of this part of Torah, pshat remes drush sod, This seer of this part of Teira covers over the pshitz of Ein Sof which is enclosed in it. Helm de levush kiviyachol yefshel lachlife. It's a helm of a levush which is impossible kiviyachol to exchange. That's the helm of every part of Teira over its pshitz of Ein Sof which it has. It's not the taich that it doesn't have this inyan in it. It's really Ein Sof. When you learn the Nigle, when Halacha, Pshat, Rames, Drush, Sod, you have everything, you have the Ein Sof in it. But you don't see the Ein Sof. It's covering over the Ein Sof. He brings in the order, you do the base sugim b'levushim. Yes, you have shalachlifam k'levush the erbas tal v'sheni. You have sometimes a levush which this becomes miyuchah with the mislabish. Becomes one part and parcel of the person that's enclosed in it. You take Chassidus, and regard to Chassidus, Kiv Shenim Megdar is basically together, basically seer. Since it has no description, Chassidus is something which doesn't tell you, is not saying of anything. It's not saying a certain way things have to be. The Chal says in Chassidus Haloshin, what type of bittul? Bittul means there's no dafke. There's no dafke. The alibis of Chassidus is bittul, right? There's no dafke. There's no. People like to say dafke. There's a lot of dafkes. 20 dafkes. The Rebbe says in the gate. It's beyond. It's beyond anything. In order to enter Chassidus, to really enter Chassidus, to really understand it, to go away from all the tziyurim. And if you do find the tziyur, it's like a levush which you could change. Therefore, since Chassidus is beyond a certain description, and it could include all different parts of Teira and it gives them life. Why? Because it's beyond a certain way of existence. Since it's including everything, it's all inclusive. The tzir doesn't cover over in a true way the pshit is that it has in it.
Just a tool.
It's
just a tool.
It could come anywhere. It is Ein Sof. And B'meila, it could enclose itself in any type of thing, and not about the way it encloses itself and everything is not in a way that covers over it. It's a tool. Yeah, it's a way how it expresses itself. It's going to show. Look over here. I'll show you the Ein Sof as well. That's the pshat. Even after it's enclosed in a levush, you'll see really that it's who is the levush? Who is it? It's the mislabish. It's the Ein Sof. In Teira Bechlal, you don't see this Ein Sof. It's Mailim. Masheng in Chassidus, it's not Mailim. It doesn't cover over. Therefore, you can always see the Ein Sof, the Pshit Ein Sof, which is mislabish. Charles, who gave it, the Melubish or the Malbish? Oh yeah,
you'll see them start.
Baruch is a quarter to, but I was starting 22, no? I'm going down a little bit.
No, you can stop at $1.
We finished the dollar already.
Yeah, no, you can stop now.
I
thought you wanted to continue your work.
No, what's the word?
The word was if you want to bring on Shabbos.
See Shabbos.
How's it working?
See Shabbos.
The last time you came